And a very good Monday to all of you. Monday, August 12th, 2018. Getting all set up for travels and adventures here. Coming up on the channel. Let's give this a minute to see if this is gone out on the other side. Let's see. See anything yet over here? Let's see. Alright, live streaming. Events. There I am. Can everybody hear me okay? Give me a 77 if you can hear me okay. A 77, that's the O to May sign. We can't do that. 69. We do the 77. There you doing? How you doing, O to May? Let me check on Dee's channel here. I don't know what's going on. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, channel's no longer available. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not privy to the workings of YouTube and stuff like that. I just know, hey Quinny and Amy, Willie, Shamaj, how are you, sweet? I'm not sure. YouTube does things YouTube's way. I just know that about 6 or 7 months ago, hey good people, about 6 or 7 months ago, I know Nicole hid her channel, and I don't think she had a lot of difficulty bringing it back. I mean, when she initially brought it back, she was kind of shocked because she thought all of her subscribers, hi Christina, hey Kitten Cat, I think that she was surprised that all of her subscribers had disappeared. Well, a day or two later, they were restored in, but the channel should be brought back. Hey, I mean, it should be almost immediately. Hey, Shay. How you doing, Kim C? I hope you're doing well. Hey, Vicky. Hello to you. A lot of things to talk about today. Especially want to drill down, hey, Jasmine, on Prisoner of Bad Decisions. I always think that's kind of funny. That this, guy can't keep me out of his mouth down there in Yuma, Arizona, sitting at the border. Prisoner of the desert? Jesus Christ, man. How about we'll tear down Prisoner of Bad Decisions today? Okay, Prisoner of Bad Decisions. Let me just say, we're friends, but man, you're really off the chain sometimes, and I'm not going to give you the headline attention here, but I will talk about that. We'll wait a couple more minutes to get things situated here. Hi, Monique. How are you, sweetie pie? Las Vegas preps are well underway. I'm very satisfied with the way that integration with Streamlabs is working now. It's finally reaching to the point where there's a good flow for it, and I like that. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. I'll talk about it. Yes, he is my friend. Yes, he is. Hey, Zeus. And I put it right out there, Vicky, but he's my friend too. Prisoner of his own. I just commented on Elbow as a prisoner of his own, ladies. Well, I mean, I don't really care. You always need somebody in life that you perceive is kind of downhill from you. It's good for your mental health, I think, sometimes. But we'll tear into that. We'll tear into that a little bit. I got my own thoughts about what drives an individual to be sitting down in a desert in August with having to go into Mexico and get teeth done. Prisoner of the desert or prisoner of very poor decision making? And then comments about videos and views. you know, I've got to add a lot of my videos here to be more generally compliant with YouTube. But my, you know, truth be told, my friggin' B channel has about as many subs as you have on your main channel. Hey, Yosemite. I mean, as many views, I think, as you have on your main. But I don't, you know, I rarely go that, I rarely, but I guarantee you, when you return to Chicago, the interest in the channel will fade down once again, and people that are legit traveling and doing things like me, when I'm gone places and taking people, it will once again soar up to beyond what you're doing. I mean, that's the reality of it. Yes, Oda May. Good morning, Cobra Johns. Yeah, it is working good now. It is working good now. Who's offline? Good afternoon, Bella Rose, the Queen of Buffalo. Did I disappear for a minute? Man, I just went through all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. One breath, he's saying. I turned YouTube and got a lot done. Yeah, there you go, Cindy. I wanted to see your thing. Hi, Michaela. How are you, sweetie? I wanted to see your thing. I don't know why things are freezing up here. It's not so much the Streamlabs. I think it's more they're working in the neighborhood here on putting up some additional capability. I think our city's cutting over to 5G, so they're doing some stuff. Yes, you're kind of disappearing. I hope it gets a little better. Hope it gets a little better on here. Hey, Love Jones. Well, as I was saying, I'll tear into that a little bit about my thoughts on that. You know, I mean, if you can't see the reality of stuff, I'll help point it out to you. Thank you, Monique. Anybody else looking? Thank you, Mikhail. Anybody else looking forward to Vegas fishing adventures and all that coming up? It's gonna be good times. So I'm working very hard, Las Vegas preps, which really means I'm doing the crap around here that Missy Jenn needs to have done to make sure that things are smooth and easy for her to handle. And also, you know, we have company coming on for Thursday, and I wanted the Rancho to look as nice as possible. Thank you, Pam. I wanted the Rancho to look as nice as possible because I have the boss and Janet coming over for fishing adventure on Thursday. Probably Wednesday night they'll come in. You know, they usually come in and sleep the night before because we got to get up about 3 o'clock in the morning. We got to be on the boat at 5 a.m. and then it's a real struggle and fight to get spots. But because it's a Thursday instead of a Friday, we might only have 10 to 15 anglers on there, which would be good. Yeah. I will. I do have playlists on the Rosie Murphy channel about last year's salmon adventure. Some of it's cinematic. I'm not going to be doing, hey Ace, I'm not going to be doing the whole cinematic thing this time. I've done that every time we've gone out. I'll get some video of fish and all that. I think that's what people care about. You won't be happy until, I don't, you know, Kitten Cat says you won't be happy until your association with Elvis bites you real good. Then you can move on with a clear head. I said, glad I don't have you. I mean, I'm used to the blather. It's been years. He can't seem to go a day without talking about me or making me the content in his streams. Why? Because it's good for business. That's why. That's precisely the reason that I'm in those things. And, you know, let's face it, you know, Saturday night proves I can fire up a hangout with well over 2,000 views, not mention a thing about any of the drama in YouTube, and have a blast. Have some drinks, get all fruity and flaky, and have a hell of a good time. And the people were in here, he says there were 120. There were 235 people in here at the peak on Saturday night. That ain't bad. How you doing, Nicole? No, you're the show. You're the show, Nicole. Remember, you got the gift of youth, honey. I'm the old bat. It was a good time, you know. I mean, I don't have to be a drama queen in the desert to have people piling into a hangout. They're there because they want to have fun. They want to cut loose, and they know that they are appreciated. Andrew Scott, how are you? Hey, Bev, how are you? Yeah, once you leave Mexico, the drama's over. Your teeth are done. The only thing that's a cure for that is on to bigger and better things, which is me in Las Vegas and me on the Rancho. Otherwise, you dribble back to Chicago, and it's get a job time over there. That's the reality. Why keep a friend? I don't consider it knifed in the back, Dave Ridlin. That's the way you used to see things. I never rarely see you say a kind word anymore. It's a shame that your soul's been so affected by what happens on a two-dimensional world of a screen. But that's okay. I'm glad you're doing good. Hey Harvey, hello to you. I don't buy in the way other people do. I don't slobber and lick the screen and hang on every hangout that parses what's going on YouTube. I do my own things. I put up repair, renovation videos. I'll be doing cooking videos coming up in the next couple days. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. Yeah, it's a relaxing channel. It might be the end of the line. I don't know. I don't know. I know, Dave, but I'm just saying, man, it's just a guy I see. I pop in, I see on the Hangouts. You let this guy work into your head so much. I know this guy in real life. I know you're a nice guy, Dave. But I'm just saying, if anybody on YouTube or even in real life thinks that they're going to have any kind of influence or power over what another YouTuber or somebody does, I just think it's all mistaken. I think you can hang out. You can put up all the hangouts you want, dissecting the situation. You can pretend like you're gathering people with torches and pitchforks, but at the end of the day, it's something that we've seen wash, rinse, repeat here for years. People are going to do what they want to do. At least the people that have strength and can carry through in the face of adversity. Yeah, there's a wide range of adversity. Thank you, Nathan. I'm feeling good, sleeping well, except the damn crows come around at about 5:36 a.m. in the morning because Missy Jenn insists on feeding them every day, so they're all out there. Got buzzed and sang. Thank you, Love Jones. So I don't have to, so we'll get into that in a minute. So the Las Vegas preps, I've done a lot of work here on the Rancho to get things in good shape. I'm looking forward to the Boston Janet coming up. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that we're going to nail some salmon on Thursday. Keep your fingers crossed. Salmon fishing is a unique experience. And it's different from rock cod fishing. The rock cod hang around the bottom of the ocean floor. And if you're lucky, once in a while, you get a ling cod. And the first time I ever went out deep sea fishing, I nailed a ling cod. That sucker was about 13 pounds. And you know what? When I brought that thing up to the surface, called for the boat hand net, the sucker knocked the fish off with the net. I never got another one again. Yeah, I hear you. Never got another one again, so it's going to be interesting. When you go salmon fishing, you don't drop your hook straight down to the bottom of the ocean. You have to troll for salmon. Salmon are a fish that will not just pick up anything and eat it. They're not a trash fish, okay? They're not the scavengers of the sea. That means they like to see bait that appears to be moving. And this captain uses baited hooks, anchovies. He supplies all the hooks and all the anchovies. But you have to put a 3-pound lead ball, on your line. And it has to be able to disconnect once you get the fish on. It's a kind of a complicated, and pardon me if I'm not watching the side chat here. And it's kind of a complicated thing. Because you don't want to fight a salmon plus the 3-pound lead weight that's on them. So they have something that's called a disconnect. When a salmon strikes that bait and starts to pull, it opens up, it pulls apart the barrel that holds the big lead ball in, and the lead ball drops to the bottom of the ocean floor. and your salmon, hopefully you're able to bring it in. But every time you fish, every time you drop your line in, you need a new lead weight. So people lose a lot of weights and stuff, and they get sagged. So it's not cheap. It's not cheap to be. Well, they still use lead here, Cobra John. Fish on. How you doing? The Canadian Clipper in the chat. Norm F. We're still using lead. I just purchased some from down at the Bass Pro Shop down here. Really, they're still selling them in there. I'm surprised. Yeah, it's pricey. Salmon's pricey, but when you nail, as we did last year, 50 pounds of salmon, you're talking about king salmon, fresh wild caught king salmon. It goes for about $12 to $18 a pound. And this stuff is direct from the ocean, but it's a complicated fishing. You got to be careful. I've seen people get hit in the head with the lead weights that are hanging. It can be dangerous too. But it's only as good as your boat hand allows it to be. But it's a lot of fun when you nail them. The cod is easy. Cod is salmon patties. I just like. Okay, take care, Nathan. I just like to pull out the. I like the cod. I'm not so crazy. I mean, fresh salmon on the grill is great as salmon steak. But that cod is great. Do you remember Pam, the fisherman? Yeah, I remember Pam. She was cool. I enjoyed her videos. She lived down in Texas, I think, on the Galveston coast. She was either in Galveston or near Beaumont, Texas, down there. She was really good. Deckhands make the difference. I have Las Vegas preps. Yeah, I didn't put fishing. I just got off on a little bit of a tangent here because it's kind of the preps. I got to do some cooking. I got to plan up a menu. I don't know whether I have lasagna or some small fillets or something like that. I got to put a dinner on Wednesday night when they come up. You know, I got to make up the bed in the in-law unit out there and get everything all set over there. Hey, Dawn, how are you? How are you? Yeah, I don't know. I'm one of those crazy people that's not as nutty about salmon as other people are, but when I had it fresh on the grill last year, man, that was pretty darn nice. Yeah, it makes me hungry too. And then in the fall, we go for crabbing, Dungeness crab and rock cod, so it's a nice combo. Yeah, we have to freeze it. I mean, we have 50 pounds. It cleans down to about 30 pounds, and then we split that 3 ways. We donate some to the party that night. We will have a live stream party on Thursday night. Hopefully we'll be showing some big ass salmon. The big ones they call hogs out there, the big jobs. So this boat we're going out on, this guy's nailed over 1,000 salmon so far in the season. So this guy knows where the fish are. And this guy's like a bloodhound, man. He knows. And if it's not biting here, he'll pilot you to where they are till you get your limit and stuff. So it's a good thing. Let's see. How you doing, Cornholio? Nice to see you. Yeah, wild salmon is unbelievably good. Hey, Sean, how are you? How you doing? I don't know. You know, I don't really purchase salmon out in the stores or anything. Like I say, I like to taste the cod. Flaky cod is unbelievably good. Holly, baby, how are you? Okay, let's move along. My discussions with and we've talked a bit over the last couple days. He gauging my reaction. I try to get caught up with him on, you know, the events that happened down in Florida. And I haven't really said anything the last couple days. I've avoided the topic mainly because the worst thing you can do is be very reactive to things. Last Tuesday night in Point Reyes Station, I gave a very balanced view of my thoughts on things. The fact that I thought that there was a measure of instigation and, you know, there was a level of either preconceived, pre-planned, or just spontaneously happened. There were some things I think that were designed over the course of time to drive a wedge in. It's just my opinion. Other people will say it's wrong. At the end of the day, though, I'm looking at all the videos and watching all the everything I could really see last night. Instead of going live, I did some research. People say, Rosie, you never do your research. You know, you just don't know. You just fly into a shitstorm. How you doing, JK? I looked at all the videos. I analyzed things. I went back and watched Phase Stream, and I saw the video that was produced on there. It's a lot of things to take in. It's shocking. There's no doubt about it. It's shocking. It's over the top. And it could have been a potentially dangerous, if not potentially lethal situation going on down there. We all know that by now. We all, those of us that were, and I was not so much on the stream house streams because I had to go out of town on day trips a couple times, but the times I checked in, I've already voiced my opinion. How you doing, Jack A? How you doing, Sister Earth? Yes, it was a very disturbing image. And I've had to process that and think about that and think about Las Vegas. And then, of course, I have all the Marshall stuff on my mind, too. And what I don't want to have is a confluence of a train wreck that occurs in Las Vegas. So I need to be very specific about that. So I mentioned that to Dee. I said, look, we need to have a discussion about this, a frank discussion. And, I've seen that you made an apology, and that's a good thing to do. And you own your stuff. And I said, you know what? People are going to be watching very carefully now. They're going to be watching very carefully to see how you respond to the thoughts of other people now. Specifically the people that hate your guts. Okay, because of what went down. They don't know you on a personal level like I do. And hello, if I'm missing this side chat, I apologize. I'm just kind of trying to stay kind of focused. Everybody will have their chance to on the side chat there. And I'm not talking about the events of that. I'm just talking about the dealing with the aftermath now. And how to avoid train wrecks, and just telling Dee, who honestly asked my opinion, what do you think about things? And I told him frankly about it. And I told him how I hope to God, okay, I'm insensitive to a lot of YouTube stuff. I'm insensitive to a lot of stuff in real life. People know me as ghetto. I grew up with that kind of crap, unfortunately. Growing up in that environment on the streets of Baltimore during riot times in the 60s and stuff, you could become very desensitized to something that's very traumatic for 95% of the people. I own that. Okay, so a lot of times it seems, as somebody commented yesterday, I guess somebody would have to just be taken out and knifed to death before Rosie would really be bothered by it. That's my problem. That's my shortcoming. That's my failure to associate. So on the one hand, I've got this incident that happened down in Florida. And on the other hand, I have my personal experience with Dee, which covers weeks. Okay? And I'm thinking to myself, the only logical thing that I can possibly think about is there ever a situation, hey Lulu, is there ever a situation in my mind where this could conceivably happen to me? Now, I know Mallory would say, well, Rosie, none of us ever expected. My goodness. I get that. But I can only frame things I can only frame things. I don't know when you said. Let me just check that JK real quick. Let me just see. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Unfortunately, my ex is doxed out years ago. That's what makes Berg's a POS. It doesn't matter. I mean, we've dealt with that nonsense for. Yeah, I appreciate that, JK. You know, that just shows the desperation of a real dope on YouTube. Who the walls are closing in on, and there's less and less people that really, choose to be involved in that mess. You know. All right, so back to the story. I can only frame out what the reality is of the way I've met and experienced Dee in real life. And as I said, I try to think of any kind of rational situation because let's face it, Dee and I have tied on the drink bag to where we could barely stand up. Now I'm not going to say for him; he's a younger person than I am. Okay, I'm retired. I got the right to be an old bat and just get drunk and fall over. And if I want to fall over, I'll fall over. In other words, I've earned my right to do what the fuck I want to do, as long as it's not hurting anybody else. But in his mind, it's the call between, a life that he's trying to build here and a life that he has in a parallel world. And, for him to come on to YouTube and to make the high hipster and to make the big splash that he's made, it's a lot to take in. You go from a guy down in the desert in Arizona doing live streams that has 6 or 8 people on the stream to suddenly you're blowing up. Well, I'm not going to talk about the 4,000 purchase views, but you're in a situation where you're getting a lot of attention, and it can be a lot to cope with. The mind starts to get distorted, the imagery of self. Your self-awareness begins to diminish because you start to attribute everything to you and maybe not the people around you. And I do think that Dee became a little focused on his own success, which has been great. And as you guys know, I'm a person that applauds success. I like it when people are successful on YouTube. And against this backdrop, we had a conversation yesterday about things. And he frankly said, do you think that I should be around? Do you think that I should come to Vegas? I said, Dee, I know you in real life. And I can't ever think of a situation. I can't ever think of it as something that would happen between you and me that would lead to something like that to happen. We've been skunk drunk on the streets of Vegas. Now, I'm an easygoing person, okay? I'm a very easygoing person. I have a lot of bounce to the ounce when it comes to the way the crap I'll absorb from people. It takes a lot to push my button. Why? Because it's a two-dimensional flat screen world of YouTube. But this seeped over into real life. So I told Dee, I said, Dee, I can't ever think of a situation that you and I would ever be in that this would occur. And I said, because I can't even contemplate a situation like that. I said, I hope that you come to Vegas, and I hope that we can hang out when you get down there next week. Not going to be a popular decision with some people, but it's up to Dee. I said, people are going to be watching you. People will observe you. People will see if you're really sorry about the events that occurred in Las Vegas. Being remorseful, being sorry about that, being sorry about the incident is not enough. You've got to rebuild relationships with people, and you don't go on to other hangouts and pop into a defensive mode to accomplish that. You have to, in your heart and mind, seriously understand what you did and take ownership of that. 100% ownership of that. Because if you take 100% ownership of what came down there, you won't come on to other hangouts. You won't say, but if you only knew, you know, if anything, the hangout in the video that was up on Faye's viewer's choice stream, perfectly isolated everybody's worst fear of picking up a weapon and moving towards somebody. Thank God it wasn't used. So it's going to be up to you. People are going to judge your sincerity. There's a core of people that will never have anything to do with you again. And there's the great middle ground. There's that great middle ground of people that try to keep an open mind and try to judge what you do now, how you respond to that situation, how are you going to act going forward. For me, being with Dee, the many weeks that I spent with Dee, this is a person when trouble came, whether it was on the streets of Salt Lake City, Utah, or whether it was on the streets of Las Vegas or Kearney, Nebraska, this was a guy that always put himself between me and danger. I haven't had a lot of people in my life that I've known in a short period of time. Maybe it's because we have the common link of his case of having family that's transgendered and knows the particular things that go on in mind and struggles. Maybe he feels a little extra protected. But I know when push came to shove, and we were at it sometimes in Vegas, and there were sometimes the camera wasn't even on, that some stuff came down. That this guy would just walk up and put his hand on somebody's chest and say, "Whoa, that's it, no more. Back off." You know. And I'd end up giving the person $1 or whatever. But, you know, that's the Dee I know. Am I shocked and appalled by what happened down in Vegas? Of course I am. But I plan on building on the relationship that I have with him going forward. And then it'll be up to him. He said, I told him there's no posse coming. There's no cavalry coming over the hill. It's all up to you. What you do and what you say. And people will know. People will know if a big head's getting to you. People will know if you're not sincere on YouTube. People will sense that. Okay? Like I told you, humbleness, humility, and humanity. The 3 H's. That's what you have to worry about. You want to see a bad case of overinflated ego in a kingdom where the peasants live better than the king. You only need to look at Elvis, the quote, prisoner of the desert, a prisoner of bad decisions. That's the role model of what happens when you have an overinflated ego. And I've seen many people journey, thank you, Michaela, many people journey down that path. They get a little bit of success on YouTube, and all of a sudden they get a sense of themselves. And this is not directed at Mallory, okay? I happen to believe that Mallory is the same way in real life that she is on YouTube. Sometimes she affects a little bit of an extra persona. She's a person that likes to come in and make a statement, and man, you either like it or not. You know, Marshall's a different story. There's that aspect of, you know, theater of the absurd that goes on in that particular that particular case. I haven't said anything here. I haven't said one word truth about Push to the Limit. As I've said, what happened was inexcusable in that house on the part of him. And I said, if you even attempt to backpedal, name call, reshape, or repackage a story, you might as well just punch your ticket now. You may just as well punch your ticket now when it comes to this. It's not the event that happened. It's now comes down to your reaction and how you handle yourself going forward. Yes, I appreciated the fact I didn't talk to him. I didn't tell him to. I didn't talk to him for days. He was on the road. But I appreciated the fact that he picked up the phone and he called Mallory and said, you know what, I sincerely apologize. I thought that that was the right thing to do. Now the thing to do is to see how you behave going forward. These people that I'm the show, and this and that. Man, it's YouTube. Ain't none of us ever gonna be Peter McKinnon or Casey Neistat. This is the bottom of YouTube. That's hay scrapping. That's what makes it so fucking fun down here is we get an inflated opinion of how much we matter in the scheme of things in the world, and we don't. It's all unscripted. It all unfolds. And that's why people love the hell out of watching the bottom of YouTube. And we got one thing at big advantage over the drama community is, man, we put the wheels in motion and we go. We do shit. We go places. People come together. Things happen for good or bad. Thank you, Michaela. I thought it was a good discussion. And I said at the end of the day, I'm perfectly willing to meet you in Vegas because in my opinion, I'm gonna call this an isolated, if terribly misguided, horrific event. Recognize it as such. Don't package it in bullshit and say, well, because of this, because of that, I felt this way or other. Just face it. You got to have control of yourself. You got to have control of yourself, or you're going to be a sitting duck for people on YouTube. If you're the kind of person that looks down at the screen, that's fine, Nicole. I'm perfectly equipped. I don't put my finger in the air and say, gee, which way is the wind blowing today? And okay, I'll go to the red team today. Now I'll go to the blue team. I don't go to any team. I sit in the middle and the teams just constantly shift sides. Okay, I make my own decision about what I do. Ain't anybody of any consequence on YouTube that doesn't make their own decision. If you start to let other people make your decisions for you, you're lost. You've effectively pulled your own rudder out of your boat and you're just blowing wherever the prevailing winds blow you, and that's not a recipe for long-term respect on YouTube. Long-term respect on YouTube is doing your own thing and making your own decisions. Yeah, input is good, but if you're running it like a popularity contest, you're going to be slamming like a ping pong ball. From side to side to side. Losing friends, gaining friends, losing friends, pissing off people. I see it all the time. Just everybody mind their own knitting. Have your opinions, but at the end of the day, to recognize that decisions aren't made lightly, they're very thought through. And that's the way I've come to my conclusion about Dee. I have to take 3 weeks of travel and adventures, and I have to weigh that off against what happened in Florida. That's a decision that I had to make. I've seen this guy at his worst. I've seen this guy under terrible duress. I've seen this guy in his darkest moments of own personal things with family and other. I've seen a lot of sides of Dee. And for the most part, I've liked what I've seen. But as I told him, you best own your shit. And you best move on and learn some lessons from it and try to be a better person. I'm sorry if I've missed the side chat. Being an old bat, I get my tongue twisted if I start to do that. Don't like things being brought up. Well, I need to have my take on that because it's coming up. Now, the prisoner of bad decisions. I want to get to that subject. The prisoner of the desert. Ain't many people in life that I know, Marshall, have ever gotten in a position where they need to go down and hug the border in summertime in scorching heat to do something that should have been done years ago. Your own poor decision making and your inability to take advice from others has brought you to the point of the border where down there you still feel the need to goad me and poke me, despite the fact that all I'm doing is having fun, doing my responsible duties here, and accomplishing things in real life that have to be done. This continuous obsession with views and subs and all that, man, it's not netting anything. Okay? You know, we're like rats in a very small maze here, just running around for the amusement and pleasure of others. Ain't none of us ever gonna get out of the maze. Ain't none of us gonna be like the Jeffersons and moving on up. Hey Gina, how are you, sweetie? We ain't gonna be moving on up to the east side, man. We're down in the lower east side. So you can enjoy your moment in the sun, and as I said before, when you make it back to Chicago, the content and interest in what you're doing will drop back to virtually, flat line. You can do the food reviews, you can face plant all the ice creams you want. Yeah, you'll get the commentators that hang on because they don't have a life and they're there regardless. You'll have the other analysts that are there to talk about what you said, and that's all fine too. But I'm saying at the end of the day, the well runs dry. The well runs dry financially, and the well runs dry with places to go and things to do. What's the solution? Well, I've already said that you're more than welcome to come up to Las Vegas. Doesn't bother me. Come up. You're relatively close to it. It's fine. That's where you already know in your mind that's where the content lies, to follow me around. And to hook up and get involved with coming to the Rancho. You know where that's the real content lies. You know that's the big story. That's the big carrot out there, the big story. That's the big fuel, man. That's the nuclear power for your channel. It ain't sitting around grabbing the Rees in Chicago on Devon Avenue. It's not sitting around Mr. X's place. That's a small world that's grown awful boring to a lot of people. We all know that. We all know that you need me for content. We know that. Why? Because I'm willing to hang out, have fun, and because we're friends. But let's not get it twisted, Marshall. Let's not get it twisted. So you can sit there and talk about view counts and undercount. You said Saturday night there were 120 people on the stream. There were close to 250 people on the stream at 3 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast. Why? And we didn't talk about you. And we didn't talk about Dee, and we didn't talk about Mallory. We just got drunk and had a blast. Let's see if you can do that. Okay? That's real showmanship. Okay? And if you want to talk about view counts, I've gutted more views out of the Rosie O'Kelly channel than you have total views on your channel. I've removed over 4,000 videos with a combination of 5.5 million watch hours have been removed. Okay, put that in your pipe and smoke it. My B channel, the Rosie Murphy channel, has almost as many views as your channel, your only channel, and I don't put any effort into it at all. Why? Because I'm an entertaining and engaging people, and people love or hate to see what Rosie's doing, and to see Rosie on the road and see how to install and replace a vent fan in a bathroom, how to properly paint and repaint a building. 5-year reviews of LG washer dryer units reviewed for 5 straight years. You know, I leave a legacy of stuff that people watch for years. 5 months from now, only the crickets will be watching Algadonda's Tooth Adventure. That's it. You never recognize that doing things like food reviews and doing things like RV reviews are what really interests people in the long haul. You might be best for business for finding somebody that comes along once in a while, drop some money on you. But in terms of YouTube business, you're not good for business. Because you don't leave a legacy behind of things that people care to watch in the future. And that's the reality. So you come on up, hang out, we'll have a blast. I treat everybody equally. I treat everybody well. I'm a nice person. Bring your wallet. You know, make sure you're plenty gassed up. Do what you want to do. Go to Chicago. Come to Vegas. But I'll tell you what, you know where the story is. And you know where the nuclear fuel is stored, okay? You and I both know you coming to the Rancho's blow the roof off content. For me, I see it as potentially helping a friend out. For you, you see it as a stepping stone for views and all that. Maybe someday there'll be some equivalency on that. If anybody has any questions on the side chat now, that's about all I really wanted to say today. Prisoner of bad decisions, not prisoner of the desert. Nobody gets used, Quinny, unless they want to be used. Nobody gets used. He'd drive to Dave's house if it would work on his van. So that's all I'm going to say. I gave him his 15 minutes of fame here today on the channel. If you really wanted to make somebody irrelevant, you'd stop watching them. But people tell other people, unsub, don't watch, and yet they're always the same people who are over there in there trolling like crazy. Why? Because they love the show. They love the content. There can be no other reason for that. Thank you, Monique. I don't hold anything against them. I go over there. You know, I enjoy it once in a while, but it grows thin when it's the same crap. Because you continuously have to search for content, and you need to find nuclear fuel. I'm the nuclear fuel, and you know it. And you know what, brother? Learn to love it. Anyway, guys, if nobody has any questions or anything, your thumbs up are appreciated. If you haven't, please take a minute and hit the thumbs up button. Thank you very much. And I love you guys being on today and listening to the message. And let's all try to maybe be kinder and more forgiving people. Okay? Have a great one, everybody. Woo!